Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Sam and Doug continue making progress on the Alpha 1 GTO. This episode, they'll install the throttle cable, as well as ignition coils and wires. Both parts are necessary to provide air and spark to make this engine come alive.
So Sam, everything looks great at this point, so what are we going to do next?
Next, we're going to give this thing some fire. I called Kevin at Locar, and he sent me a set of their Clayton Machine LS relocation brackets, and we're going to be able to put our coil packs right there, run our ignition wires to our spark plugs, and then he even sent us the throttle cable that they made for this intake manifold.
That's fantastic. You know, we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and get started and get the cables going.
And don't forget dielectric grease, very important.
And why is that important, Sam?
Well, because what happens is that when you go to do a service on your spark plugs and you go to pull the boot off the spark plug, believe it or not, the boot gets stuck onto the spark plug itself. So the grease allows for the boot not to get stuck on the spark plug. And it transfers electricity from the connector to the spark plug better.
That's great information. Now remember, it's important, whenever you're changing plugs or plug wires, don't forget the dielectric grease because it makes a real big difference.
The fact that they give you the option to separate the coils in pairs, and it's a nice compact bracket for you to be able to install anywhere. But Kevin also has a Locar series where you can mount the 4 coils right here on this piece, bolt the piece up wherever you want, and all 4 coils are going to be nicely spaced anywhere in the engine compartment. You could even go underneath the car with this, and they have extension harnesses for you.
What I needed to do on the throttle pedal, the connector was different than this connector here, so I had to go ahead and drill and then grind to make sure everything fit on the new connector. So we've got it all done. Now I'll start to reinstall it in the car, then this will work with the new throttle body.
Now it's very important to get all the slack out of the outside cable in order for you to have a nice, good, full sweep of your throttle. You want to double check inside the car, making sure there's no obstructions. Fully sweep the throttle pedal with a person out here making sure that your butterflies or throttle plate is opening up fully. If you feel like it's not opening up fully, you can take it and travel it the rest of the way to see how long it'll take before it stops on its own. Then you can go back and make some more adjustments. Now it's very important that whenever you guys are doing your cable from Locar, there is an inner cable that is going to be going through the outside shield. Do not cut the outside shield with the inner cable in it, because then you have killed your product by making the cable that actually actuates the throttle linkage way too short. So when you're doing the lengths and you're cutting them to length, do it in 2 separate stages, making sure that you do the outside one first, get that length done, bolt it down, then feed the inner cable through, making your adjustments, putting your end on it, going to your throttle cable, and finalizing your installation. Well, Doug, as you can see, I even took care of the upper and lower radiator hoses along with the heater hoses. Now tell everyone what we have to do to adjust the sweep of those throttle bodies.
Yeah, the Locar system that we put on here sure looks good. There's a lot of things that we had to do on this thing. Is you got to make sure that your throats on your butterflies are fully open. You have somebody inside the car, have them push down on the pedal, make sure you're getting the full sweep. There's a lot of adjustments. Everything that we have done in here, Sam, just looks fantastic. You know, it looks good. Much better than you, I'm afraid.
That's fine, I'll take that. I'm glad you like it. I even got you heater hoses with the DEI reflective tape because I got one going across the header and one going right across the valve cover. But it's easily serviceable. All we gotta do is put clamps on them.
You know, Sam, I really like those. It gives the engine just a little more bling.
Absolutely.